Happy day before Friday. We got a huge 4-game slate. Let's talk some basketball. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back in to another episode for Just a Bet Outside. I am your host, Steven. Hope you guys had a great Wednesday. We are trucking along now. We got a 4-game slate on Thursday. Yesterday, my goodness, 2-2 day. You know what? With all the craziness that happened and injuries all over, Anthony Davis, Trae Young, everybody, Donovan Mitchell. We'll talk about that later. But we went 2-2, one shot away from a 3-1 night. Austin Reeves broke our heart with a floater at the buzzer to make us lose the money line parlay. But we'll get into all that in just a little bit in the recap. 5-3 in the last 8, hoping to try to get a little steam here as we figure out these first couple weeks in the NBA. But quick reminder, Thursday Night Football Best Bets video, that is out now. Give my one best bet and 2 leans for that game. But of course, any graphics you see in this video are from OUTLIER, the best betting research tool on the market today. Click that link below in the description. You get a 7-day free trial. So let's get it rolling. You know that means it's time for the dad joke. So here we go. I hate it when people tell me age is just a number. It's clearly a word. In this video, we're going to recap yesterday, and then we're going to give you a couple leans for Thursday. And even though we got a 4-game slate, I got the 2 leans, and I also have 2 best bets for you. And then, of course, we'll finish it with the recap. So hit that like button if you haven't already. Leave a comment below to help this channel continue to grow. Appreciate every single one of you that leaves a comment. It seems like every day for like 2 years now. It's just absolutely incredible. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Come join this awesome community. But I am ready to get it started, and that means it's recap time. All right, there it is, a 2-2 day. We hit the 2 added plays. Vucevic over 10.5 rebounds, got the job done like mid-fourth quarter. Decently easy there. Drew Holiday over 25.5 PRAs, got off to a slower start, and then went absolutely bonkers at the end of the first half, early second half, and he just skied over this line. Hawks and T-Wolves moneyline parlay. Again, I am determined to have a great year again on moneyline parlays, but this wasn't it. Hawks got the job done, even though Trae Young went down early, and the Nets made it a little close in that one, but they pulled it out. And then the T-Wolves. That was an absolutely pathetic performance by them in the first 3 quarters. Absolute just garbage defensively. They were playing Austin Reeves and a bunch of guys, and they could not stop them to save their life. They didn't even show any effort. Jake LaRavia was like the next coming of Michael Jordan. It was just unbelievable. And then with all that, they somehow made a miracle comeback and got up one with 10 seconds left, or 6 seconds, sorry. And then they knew Gobert was going to be a part of a pick and roll. They already did it with 10 seconds left. They used their foul to give, and they still had Rudy Gobert out there, knowing that Austin Reeves is going to come off a screen, and it's going to be Reeves versus Gobert. You have to avoid that. I have no idea what Finch was thinking, having him up there. Maybe not even have him in the game. What's the point if he's just going to be a part of a pick and roll at the 3-point line? And sure enough, Austin Reeves just split him, went right by him, and hit a floater. It was a dumb moment. I have no clue what the Minnesota coach was thinking. I don't care that he protects the paint well. It's easy to use him out there in the perimeter. Anyways, I'm just venting. Thanks for listening. Donovan Mitchell over 27.5 points. Oh my goodness. Speaking of venting, you guys already know what happened. It was one of the most bet props of the day. Unfortunately, I hate being a part of that, but he all of a sudden had a hamstring injury. He hurt it eating. I have no idea. Came out of nowhere. And then he said, you know what, I'm going to play. And my instant thought was, great. He's going to try to push it out with a random hamstring that nobody knew about, by the way. All he does is shoot threes in the first quarter. Because why? He doesn't want to use the hamstring. And he makes a lot of threes. Scores 15 points. Donovan Mitchell is a superstar. He went scoreless in the second, third, and fourth quarter and ended with 15 points. When you watch him play, he was just going through the motions, didn't want to attack, wasn't a part of the offense. Again, injury reports need to be more clear in the NBA. We've said it a million times. We're going to lose some bets because of it. Because, we're not in the team meetings. We're not talking to the players and know how they feel. But these people need to learn how to sleep because there's a lot of injuries overnight. But anyways, season record, there it is, down 2.71 units, 2-2 today, 3-1 yesterday, a little 5-3. I'll call that a run. Early in the season, obviously, it's a little tricky. But let's get our footing and let's get another hot streak rolling. So that's what we got for the recap. Now let's talk some leans. All right, here we go. The first one is an over 240.5 with the Magic and the Hornets. So let's talk about this one. We already know the Hornets don't play defense. They haven't since I was a kid. But anyways, we know they play fast also. What we're learning this year, the Magic also suck defensively. My goodness. 136 and 135. That's how many points they've given up in back-to-back games versus 76ers and the Pistons gave up 64 and 58 points in the paint in both games. Also allowed 40% shooting from deep to both teams, 40% or more. Just a team still trying to figure it out with Desmond Bane, Jalen Suggs with limited time right now, which is hurtful. Of it hurtful. It hurts them because he's a great perimeter defender, obviously. But tonight is the second night of a back-to-back. I can't talk tonight. Tired legs, no time to figure out their issues all of a sudden. So I don't see their defense improving. Hornets, a ton of scores on this team, even without Brandon Miller. They're over this line already in their games in 3 of 5, coming off a 260 and a 251 totals in the last 2 games. Playing at a top 10 pace. LaMelo playing really well offensively. We know what he does defensively, not a lot of effort. But I liked a lot of points here. Give me the over 240 and a half until the Magic can figure out what they're doing defensively. Second one. This one is pretty. Wizards plus 15 and a half. Yep, Wizards are playing the defending champs, and I'm taking the Wizards. OKC they've played well to win, but they're really just not blowing teams out. It's not like last year. You know, you get a lot of slow starts, but their slow start, they're still winning games at least. But they've only won by 16 or more points 1 of the 5 games. They played a couple double overtime games, won by single digits in 4 of the 5. OKC injuries also. Chet is out this game. Jalen Williams still out. Isaiah Joe questionable. So again, Chet and Jalen Williams, you're talking 2 of your best 3 players are going to be out again. Wizards are a young team playing hard. Even if they're not super talented, they took the 76ers to overtime, should have won that one. Beat the Mavs by 10. The other 2 times they got crushed. But if the Wizards are down 20 in the 4th, we got a chance, guys. OKC won't be pushing their starters. Backdoor cover will be very much alive here. You just got to kind of keep it respectable. You can't be dropping or going down 35 or anything crazy. But Alex Sarr was really impressive last game against Joel Embiid and them. Kaishan George has really impressed me as well, kind of doing a little bit of everything for that team. So some decent young talent here. I think they can keep it within this huge number. So I lean the Wizards plus 15 and a half. But those are my leans. Now it is time for the best bets. All right, this first one takes us out to Milwaukee, Wisconsin, where the Bucks host the Golden State Warriors. Warriors minus 2.5 total. This one is 232.5. I got a player prop. Give me Brandon Podziemski, B-Pods, over 10.5 points, minus 120 on FanDuel for a half unit. We cashed a guard versus Milwaukee pretty easily with Jalen Brunson last game. I'm sure a ton of people are going to be on Steph Curry. I mean, I don't blame them. It's a stud guard versus the Milwaukee Bucks. I'm going to kind of zag, I don't know, whatever. I'm going to go with the other guard. Give me B-Pods at this low total, or at this low points total. So as you can see by this outlier screenshot, he's over this in 3 of 5 games so far, averaging over this, 12.2 points per game. So an average night against this team gets us there. But one of the unders was 8 points at Portland. That was the second out of a back-to-back, if you guys remember, and it was an absolute blowout. So less minutes. If you get rid of that blowout where he played 22.5 minutes, he's played over 30 minutes in 3 of the other 4 games, 27 minutes last game versus the Clippers. Again, that ended up being a blowout. He's averaging 10 field goal attempts per game, over 5 3-point attempts per game. Again, when you're taking 5 threes, you go 2 for 5, and we're already over halfway there. So the volume is there for this, and now the matchup is really there. The Bucks defense continue to stink defending guards, and it's been like that since the beginning of last season. Not a surprise. You are rolling out Rollins and AJ Green as your guards. I mentioned it last time, guards versus Milwaukee this year. I'm gonna some of these secondary guards too, because obviously that's what B-Pods is. But Jordan Clarkson had 10 points, Landry Shamet had 16, Merrill had 17, Quickly 19, and then Brunson 36. Obviously, those are different kind of guards than B-Pods. But Bucks just overall are average defensively. Most of that is because they've done a decent job at limiting points in the paint. B-Pods is not relying on scoring in the paint, so I think it's a great matchup for him. They're going to leave him open. He's going to have some, open opportunities. These young guards are just not very good defensively, and they're going to obviously be focusing on Steph a lot. So I like this one. Give me B-Pods over 10.5 points as my first best bet. This second one takes us out to San Antonio, where the Spurs host the Miami Heat. Spurs minus 5.5 total, 231.5. Who's ready for an under? It's time. Give me Bam Adebayo, under 37.5 PRAs, minus 110 on DraftKings, half unit play. First, Norman Powell, it looks like he's not going to play again. That's probably why we're getting this high line. But let's talk Adebayo. This outlier screenshot will tell you he is under in every game. So, I mean, that alone is a weird thing to see because he's averaging 32.75 per game. Last game versus Charlotte, by the way, which is an easy matchup, that was also without Norman Powell. So it's not like he's never played without him or anything, but he's averaging 33 minutes per game. We know he's going to get the minutes. He's taken 16 or less shots in 3 of the 4. So he's not a guy taking 20 to 25 shots or anything like that. He's not taking over games. They've really been playing well as a team. In fact, he's even scored under 20 points in 2 of the 4 games already, averaging 16.5 potential RAs, turns into maybe about 9 or so, maybe 10 rebounds and assists. That's just not a ton, especially with his scoring. Now the matchup. This is what it's about. In case you guys don't know, let me tell you about San Antonio. He faces Wemby and the Spurs are one of the best defenses in the league right now. They first played at the 4th slowest pace in the league. They have the 2nd best defensive rating through 4 games. They've allowed the 3rd fewest offensive rebounds. So I'm not expecting a lot of offensive boards and putbacks or anything like that by Bam. They've given up the 2nd lowest field goal percentage and 2nd fewest points in the paint. That is key. This is going to be one of the toughest matchups that he will see. Some other power forwards versus Spurs. Scotty doesn't know played 29 minutes. He had 13 PRAs. Zion was the only one that did pretty well, obviously. He had 44. That was an overtime game. He ended up under 40 and then went into overtime. But I know because I lost that under. But Anthony Davis had 36. Again, Bam Bam is not on Anthony Davis's level. So this number is really just too high. He only faced the Spurs with Wemby 1 game last year because the other game was without Wemby and he got 51. But the one with Wemby, he ended with 22 PRAs. So this is a very tough matchup versus a top 3 defense that also plays slow. On top of that, Bam has never gone over this line yet this season. Hasn't even been that close, to be honest with you. So give me Bam Bam under 37.5 PRAs. That is my 2nd and final best bet on the video. Any added plays will be in the pinned comments below. On the website, justabetoutside.com, X, Discord, you know the drill. But before we get out of here, let's check out that recap. All right, there it is. My 2 best bets. Give me B-Pods over 10.5 points for a half unit and Bam Bam under 37.5 PRAs for a half unit. Thank you guys for watching. As always, again, go check out that Thursday night football video if you have any time at all. But hope you guys have a great Thursday. We'll talk to you soon.